When most people think of Adrien Brody, they think of dramas and, heavy subject matter. But he has also done a lot of lighter fare. So today we are going to talk about some of those. Now, for this list, I have purposely left out Wes Anderson films because that's going to be a separate video topic down the line. I am also leaving out action films because those are kind of their own thing and they're a different kind of fun, and they will also be their own video topic down the line. So before we get into the meat of the top 10, I wanted to throw in an honorable mention, which is Steven from Dummy. I talked about him already in the 5 performances you need to see video, so I thought I wouldn't include him here. Officially kicking off our top 10 is Home at Last, which came out in 1988 and is Adrien's first film. It's only about an hour long, so I'm not sure if it qualifies officially as a movie. It was more like an after school special type of thing. Adrien plays a character named Billy, who is an orphan from New York City, who gets into some trouble, and rather than give him jail time, they ship him off to Nebraska to work for some Swedish immigrant farmers there. Apparently, this was an actual program that took place back then. They would just ship troublemakers from big cities out to farms to, rehabilitate or whatever. So it's a really sweet film, actually. Adrien's character, Billy, goes through quite a transformation, and so does the family that he's staying with. If you want to see it, it's actually streaming on Tubi for free right now. Speaking of heartwarming and family friendly, at number 9 we have Angels in the Outfield. This movie is a bigger deal to us Adrien Brody fans than it would seem on the surface, because Angels in the Outfield saved Adrien's career. He had given himself a time frame. If I can't really make a go at this, I'm going to just give up and go home and, just do something else. And right when that window was closing, he got Angels in the Outfield. So Adrien doesn't have a ton of screen time, but when he's there, he's memorable, and his character is actually pretty pivotal to the plot. So check it out. It is finally streaming on Disney Plus. They added it on the 30th anniversary. So at number 8, we have The Undertaker's Wedding. Adrien played a character named Mario Bellini, who is an Undertaker. He's kind of a straight man character almost. He does get a lot of laughs, but it's mostly from how serious he is in spite of the absolute chaos going on around him. So if you can track down The Undertaker's Wedding, I recommend it. It's something very different than most Adrien Brody fans are used to seeing. And it's cute. Is it Citizen Kane? No. But, sometimes movies just need to be fun. So I've seen it on DVD floating around on various sites. I don't think it's streaming anywhere, though, but correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. I would love to be wrong about that. At number 7, we have Fool's Paradise. This film is lacking in story, I would say. In fact, my husband and I went to see it in the theater, and when it ended, we kind of looked at each other, and my husband said something like, "That's it." And I said, "Don't movies usually have a story?" So that gives you some idea. It had a lot of promise, which is sad, and a lot of wasted potential and a lot of wasted talent. But Adrien's character, Chad Luxt, is kind of an over the top actor who does westerns and things like that. And he is a bright spot for sure. Also, bright spots in this film are Common, Kate Beckinsale, and the late great Ray Liotta. At number 6, we have See How They Run. Adrien played a character named Leo Kopernik, who is not a very likable guy, but somehow with Adrien playing him, he still kind of is. I think if other fans of his will know what I mean by that. He brings humanity to like every part he plays, so you end up feeling for them even if they're not good people. It's a fun whodunit kind of film. Adrien narrates it in the beginning, and there's a lot of backstory they show with him. Sam Rockwell and Saoirse Ronan are the leads, and there's just a stacked cast, and it's great. It's based on Agatha Christie's The Mousetrap. It's actually about a production of The Mousetrap, and Adrien's character is trying to make it into a film because it's such a successful play. And so, yeah, it's kind of all the drama that goes along with that. And then there's echoes of the actual story of the mousetrap going on at the same time. So, yeah, check out See How They Run. I think you'll enjoy it. At number 5 is The Brothers Bloom. This one was kind of hard for me to put on this list because The Brothers Bloom takes a turn about midway through or so. But I put it on here anyway because the parts that are charming and funny are very charming and funny. Adrian's character is very sweet, very frustrated with the life that he's living with his brother. He wants to break out and be his own person, and so there's a lot of that conflict there. But there is a lot of comedy and a lot of heart, and so it made this list. At number 4, we have a short film called Boredom. You can find it right here on YouTube. Just type in Boredom, Adrien Brody, and it should pop up. Adrien plays a character named Danny who is struggling with facing adulthood. And so he kind of regresses into childhood. There's a scene where he kind of explains why. There's some narration he does that kind of explains why. So you get the gist of why he's doing it, but watching it play out is really entertaining and sweet. Just carefree, jumping in puddles and throwing meatballs at the neighbors. It's very, very entertaining, and it definitely fits this list perfectly because it is charming and sweet and funny. It checks all the boxes that I used as criteria here, so it definitely had to make the list. At number 3 is Midnight in Paris, where Adrien played the surrealist painter Salvador Dali. It seems a little odd to include this because Adrien's only on screen for about 3 minutes, one scene, but he steals the whole thing. Everybody who's seen this remembers that scene more so than anything else in the film. In fact, the clip of just his scene has been making the rounds and gone viral, and is just, you've probably seen it before. The I see a rhinoceros thing, yes, that's from Midnight in Paris. As a casual observer, you would think, okay, he's being really over the top here, like, wow, overacting. No. Go to that YouTube search bar and type in Salvador Dali, and you will probably find some old interviews, game show appearances, stuff like that, and you will see Adrien was pretty much spot on. Apparently, the direction that Woody Allen gave him was, I want Gil, that's Owen Wilson's character, to know he's in the presence of genius, but also a madman. So I think they nailed that. At number 2, we have not a movie, but an episode of the TV show Dice called Ego, where Adrien played a parody of himself, basically. He meets with Dice, that's Andrew Dice Clay, and tells him, oh, I want to start a one-man show about masculinity, and to me, you're the ultimate symbol of that. So I want to follow you around and learn how to be you. And he tells him, I don't know how to act. I become, and then I am. So that's what he does. He basically becomes a little copy of Dice, and he kind of uses his own comedy against him in parts, and it's quite funny. And sitting at number 1 is the entire reason I wanted to make this list. This is a film called High School. High School is one of those films that is dismissed as, oh, it's just another stoner comedy. You've seen one, you've seen them all. Not true here. The performances are spectacular. Adrien, of course, he plays a character named Psycho Ed, who was like a prodigy as a kid, and then they say he went to Mexico and smoked something that was laced with something else. He came back and became like the world's greatest pot grower, basically, using the intelligence he has and his newfound love of drugs. So, yeah, that's kind of the character we're dealing with here. I think Adrian probably had more fun on this set than he did just about anywhere else, and it shows. If you want to get, the big picture of Adrien Brody's talent, honestly, you need to see High School. Psycho Ed is a perfect balance of funny and intelligent and a little scary. He's a really well-rounded character, which is sounds silly, in a stoner comedy such as this, but it's true. So that's our list of 10 lighter Adrien Brody projects. So if you've seen any of these, let me know down in the comments what you thought of them. And make a note of where you found them too, so that other people in our little community can track them down. Thank you as always for being here, and I will see you next time. Take care.